Good morning and welcome to our Wellness Wednesday. Thank you for joining us this morning. Our Wellness Wednesday airs the second Wednesday of each month, bringing a new focus on different mental health topics each time. My name is Nicole Moccasin. I am the community health worker for the Ponca Tribe of Nebraska in Lincoln. Joining me today is Dr. LuAnne Even, the Chief Behavioral Health Officer and Clinical Psychologist at the Fred Leroy Health and Wellness Center in Omaha. Thank you for joining us today. Today we will be speaking on bullying and friendship.
Awesome. Thanks again, Nicole. I love being here for these every month, and I'm really excited to be talking about bullying and friendship, especially with school coming back in session. I think it's a really important topic.
In our society, there are sometimes individuals who are aggressive and unwanted behavior towards others in order to meet a perceptive goal. This behavior is actually called bullying. As a clinician, would you say there's different types of bullying?
Yeah, there's 4 different types of bullying. So you have verbal bullying, which is what it sounds like, teasing somebody, calling them names, those types of things are verbal bullying. You also have physical bullying, which is any kind of physical threat or actual violence. Cyberbullying, which is verbal or physical, but it occurs online. So, via Facebook, email, whatever platform. And then another one, a little more tricky, but also really common, is social or relational bullying. So this is any type of bullying that has any kind of an exclusionary tactic attached to it. So deliberately leaving kids out, starting rumors, gossiping, all of those types of things that are meant to socially alienate somebody is considered relational bullying.
I understand there are different types of bullying. So I was also wondering, who can all be bullied? Are there certain individuals, or can this be an issue with any type of people?
It's really unfortunate. Bullying doesn't, pick out anyone in particular. Anybody can be a victim of bullying at any time of their life. It's also not something, specific to little kids or middle school kids or high school kids. And it can vary from year to year. So unfortunately, yes, it can, a lot of different types of people can be victims to bullying.
I was wondering, how do you respond to a child if they are telling you they are being bullied by someone?
So if, a child, a student, whomever comes to you and says they're being bullied, you're going to, keep those lines of communication open. You're going to let them tell you their story and then work with them to talk to a trusted adult. So if it's in the schools, going to the school administration or a teacher that they trust, and really kind of starting that conversation about what's happening so that things can be put into place to make changes for them.
But sometimes your child or a child may be the one bullying. If your child is the one doing the bullying, how do you confront them and what should be the consequence?
It's a really good question. Nobody wants to hear that their kid is being the bully. But it's really easy for us to get kind of hung up on the details. But when you are working with the child who is the one that's kind of acting out, it's important to be clear with them. Tell them that this is not behavior that we allow in the house, that this is not in line with our family values. Be very clear that this is not okay. Also be factual. Try not to trap the kiddo into telling you the truth about what happened or, try to make them feel that they need a lie to get out of it. Talk about this is what happened and this is not okay. So use the facts that you know. Also be calm. Try really hard not to be angry, but to take a deep breath, talk in a calm, soothing tone so that the kid feels that they can open up to you and be consistent. So every time this happens, you want to make sure that you set those boundaries. You tell them that this is not okay. And because of this, the consequences that you're not going to be able to have your video games this weekend or whatever the consequences that you come up with the family, and then to be firm. So you want to stick to those boundaries.
So it appears that bullying can take many forms and can happen to a number of different people. At what point does bullying become a criminal act and need to be reported to authorities?
So it's kind of a tricky one. So there are no federal laws surrounding bullying. However, if it happens to somebody of different race, ethnicity, color, sexual orientation, gender, it might be crossing lines where it's harassment, and that then there's those federal laws about harassment. However, most states do have anti-bullying laws. They're just not super specific. Nebraska's anti-bullying law defines bullying as Any ongoing pattern of physical, verbal, or electronic abuse on school grounds in a vehicle owned, leased, or contracted by the school. So this means that anything off school is not protected under any of these rules. And it's hard for parents to get anything done if the bullying has happened off school grounds. So what needs to happen then is make sure you're documenting things, file an official complaint with the school to let them know that your child is being bullied, and then continue to document it until at some point it might be able to kind of take that next step, that legal step.
Bullying appears to be a societal issue, especially among our youth. What are things can we do as a society to decrease bullying?
So it's going to be having those conversations again, helping kids to understand what bullying is, how it happens, where it happens, and that anybody can be a victim of it. To keep the lines of communication open with all adults, whether it be school administration, teachers, school counselors, and parents. Encourage kids to do what they love and just to be active. And then also modeling how we treat others, because we learn how to treat others at home and from what we're seeing. And so if we can model that behavior with our parents as teachers, then we can hopefully reduce bullying online.
For some of our youth, bullying may occur because they have issues creating friendship with others. What do you tell youth that say they do not have any friends?
So sometimes I feel like a broken record because I think it's important, again, to keep those lines of communication open. If we can talk to the kid about why they feel like they're not making friends, if they feel like they're not connecting to peers, if they feel like there's kids who don't have similar interests as them, all of those things can create difficulty making friends or even immature social skills. So if you talk to the kid and kind of figure out why they feel they're not having kids, then maybe having friendships, then maybe you can help them find something where they could create new relationships, whether it be joining a sports team or scouts or, a cosplay activity. There's so many different things, and to be able to find an activity that suits your kid will help them to create those friendships down the road.
So if an adolescent tells you they're having trouble making friends, what are things they can do to make friends?
Again, it's not just for young kids. Teens have problems making friends as well. And so it's a lot of the same things. A lot of times schools are really more geared to athletics. And if you have a child who doesn't fit in with football or soccer or some kind of a sport, it can be a little harder to feel connected at school. So working with your team to find something that they enjoy, art club, chess club, and that can help them create long friendships.
Well, thank you for joining us on our Wellness Wednesday, and thank you, Dr. LuAnne, for being here with us.